Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Products Labs. So in this video we are going to discuss about the awk command in Linux. So most people use awk by just copy pasting the commands from Google without really understanding them. So in the next 5 minutes I'll show you the awk syntax once, explain how it actually works and then apply it using real production examples so that awk finally makes sense. Let's start with the awk syntax because once this clicks, everything else becomes very easy. So awk works using this simple structure. Awk followed by inside the single quotes, the pattern, and inside the curly braces you provide action, close the single quotes and then pass the file name, input file name. So you can think of awk as a rule engine. So for every line in the input, awk checks the pattern, and if the pattern matches, the action is executed. If there is no pattern, the action runs for every line in the input file, and if there is no action, then the default action is to print the line by which is passed as an input. So awk processes input line by line, and each line is automatically split into columns. So there are a few built-in variables you must know, which I have listed down here, which are most common and most important ones. So $0 represents the entire line of the input file. $1 represents the first column or the field. $2 second field, $3 third field, and so on. $4, $5, and so on. And $NF would be the last field in the input line. NF is the number of fields or column in the current line. NR is the current line number across the file. FS is the field separator, the input field separator. So if you pass a CSV file, then the input field separator is comma, and if it is some other delimiter, you will have to specify it. And OF is the output field separator, and RS is the input record separator, that is new line by default, and ORS would be the output record separator, and similarly file name would give you the name of the current input file. So going back to this syntax here, let me give an example. For example, let us write, I have my Unix box open here, so let me write df-h. So what is the output that you get is the file system size, used, avail, use, percentage, mounted on. So you can pass even these commands, output of these commands as an input to awk, just like you pass the file names, right? So for example, let me, if I want to give output of only the first and the fifth column, that is the file system and the usage percentage, I just want that to be printed. In that case, I will pass the output of this command to the awk command, and inside, so here there is no pattern, right? I just want to give the print action $5 single quotes close. So this should print the first and the fifth column, you can see here, right? So there is no pattern here, only an action. So awk runs this for every line, right? It prints column 1, which is the file system, and column 5, which is disk usage. Now let's add a condition. So let's put a condition. I don't want this header to be displayed. So we already know that NR is the line number, right? So NR is greater than 1. Sorry, I didn't type the command awk. So you know where you need to give the condition before the curly braces, because curly braces is the action. So here I will give condition as NR greater than 1. If NR greater than 1, then what I need to do, I'll do the same print $1 comma $5, close the braces, right? So here it should not print me the header. So NR is the line number, so line number greater than 1, only then it will print. So it skips the header line and prints only the actual data. Now let's look at one of the most common real world production use cases. Say same output again, but now let's do this. So fifth column is the percentage. So if I want to print only those which have crossed our threshold, maybe our threshold is now 70%. Okay, in that case, if $5 is greater than 70, but here if you see it has the percentage, so any numerical operation on that will make it an integer type. So let me give 70 here now. So what it has done is this $5 value, say for example 1%, 0%, 1%, right? If you add a zero to it, it will turn that into a numerical value. So if, and then that numerical value, is it greater than 70, then I am typing the mount point and file system and the percentage of use. Let's see. So you can see here my D drive is now 70, more than 70%. So this I can then use as a cron job or any other scheduler to just alert me, right? So now next let's change the field separator, right? So here the field separator is tab, right? So let's change it. Now let's take some other example. Okay, let me see if I have this file. Yeah, I have this file, right? So what let me do is so if let me again do the cat of this just to show you. So here the delimiter for us is colon, right? So let's use this file as an example. So field separator we give by hyphen f. So now I'm changing that field separator as colon. So each of these values will become my columns, right? And then what is the action that I want to do? I am not giving still any pattern. If you have observed, no pattern is given. So I want to just print $1 and maybe $7, right? I'll pass this file. So you can see here the user and the home directory is now given me as an output. Here we tell awk that fields are separated by a colon instead of spaces. Column 1 becomes the username and column 7 becomes the login shell. This is very common system administration use case. So now let's quickly look at another aspects of awk. So we have something called as begin and end blocks. So let me give you an example before explaining it. So awk begin, and then I'll give print start, and then I'll give print $1. Let me put it in curly braces, print $1 and end, print end, right? And I'll pass a file, say for example file.txt, or maybe let me give this same file. Okay, awk variables.txt. So what exactly this begin and end block does is it runs only once. Begin at the beginning of reading the line, first line, and end runs only once at the after reading the last line. So only one execution happens. So let me execute this. Somehow it's not getting copied. Let me check again. I'm having some difficulty with my mouse, so let me just type it again. Print print start, and then again curly braces print $1, and then end in the braces print and close them, and awk variables started. And so there is no column separation here, so let me do this as $0. Yeah, so there is okay, the file is blank, maybe that's why. Let me do one thing, let me save this, let me check again. Yeah, now we have the values in it. Yeah, so if you see, the start is the first thing that happens before reading any line, and the end is executed once after reading all the lines. So this is useful when you want to do something like setting up any variables, or you want to print something before even the execution, maybe for logging purpose. For any such case, use case, you can use this begin and end block. Okay, so this is very useful for us in production. So remember one thing, if you remember only these three things, right? Awk is very easy. So $1 represents a column, $2, $3 represents a column, NR represents the line number, and conditions go before the actions. This is very important, which some many of us gets confused. So these pattern or conditions are executed before the action. So if the condition match, this, consider this as an if condition here. If this happens, only this is executed on those lines. If this is not given, then default this will be executed on all the lines, and if no action is given, then by default the action is printing. If this helped you, so like the video, subscribe, and for real production scripts, and comment awk if you want a one page cheat sheet or more practical examples, or more such commands that you want me to explain. Please let me know in the comment section. Thank you for